First of all, a very short introduction I would like to give about the company which I'm representing. Our company name is My Business Consulting DMCC. We are in the UAE market for 10 years already, actually more than 10 years in the UAE market in the field of corporate services and management consulting. Our major expertise and focus in setting up businesses in the UAE, assisting with corporate banking, with corporate finance, with tax advising, along with immigration support, which includes obtaining residence visas for yourself, employees, or your family members. Also, we do provide for businesses which already exist here or for new setups, bookkeeping, accounting support, basically anything to start your business and further to operate your business in compliance with all the local regulations and laws. As you can see in the screen, also some short information that we were awarded more than 19 times, and authorities which provide us awards were the local authorities and also some international authorities as well. Some of our major principles of our company is transparency and privacy and confidentiality for our clients. These are, I think, those principles which also help us to stay in the market for 10 years and more already. So we will move with the presentation further. I will skip the introduction about myself because Camila already did it, I think. My contact details you can find also in the end of the presentation. So if any questions which we will not have time to discuss, you can still be in touch with me. Okay, so this is the question which Dr. Harris in the beginning just mentioned, especially those of you who might be not aware yet about the UAE and doing business here, and in general about the UAE as a jurisdiction. You might be thinking, out of all the options available all over the world, why should I choose the UAE to do my business? There are actually many reasons and benefits that UAE as a jurisdiction can offer the entrepreneurs and investors from different countries all over the world. You can see now on the screen some of them only. So one of them is that we have lowest taxation in the world, which you probably heard, and it's the most popular one. There is zero corporate and personal income tax. For corporate taxes, the tax available at the moment is only the value-added tax, which is still one of the lowest in the world, and it's 5% only. So tax optimization can be one of the reasons why to look at the UAE as a jurisdiction. Beside that, also it's very easy process to start your business, to register your business. So the procedures of doing business are simplified as much as possible. Also, obtaining residence visa in comparison with so many countries where, for example, to get residency, you have to live in that country for certain months or in a year. Then in the UAE, it's quite simple. There is no requirement to stay here to become a resident. The only requirement that you will need to come every 6 months, one time, you will need to enter the UAE. So this is also one of the benefits. Is beside that, the safety of the economy and of the country itself, that safety of banking in this country is one of the biggest benefits. In the UAE as well, you can get one of the best infrastructures in the world, which definitely will benefit and complement your business here. Probably you heard also about free zones in the UAE. Today is more than 50, almost up to 60 different free zones in all the Emirates. And free zones are very popular and one of the biggest benefits because it allows 100% ownership for foreign investors and entrepreneurs. So we will move now to two types of registration, which I specifically chose for you as coaches, which I find most suitable for you to practice coaching business here in the UAE. So one of them is the free zone company, type of company called free zone. So you can see now on the screen some of the main characteristics of the free zone. So there is zero personal income tax, as well as there is zero corporate tax. Free zone company will allow you to get a residence visa for yourself as a shareholder, as well as for the employees if you are going to hire employees in the company. And the residence visa in the Emirate of Dubai is valid for 3 years for employees and for the shareholders, while in other Northern Emirates for the investors it will be 3 years, and for the employees it will be 2 years. As I mentioned earlier, also 100% foreign ownership is allowed in the free zone. This is one of the most popular characteristics of this type of company. Such type of company allows you to have an office inside the free zone of registration if that is required. And it allows you to practice your business activity inside the UAE and outside the UAE without limitation to inside the free zone only, which is very common misconception. And also, last but not the least, the free zone company allows you to open corporate bank account in one of the local banks and to carry business transactions through a bank account. So these are short but main characteristics of free zone. The second type of registration, which we will talk specifically for coaches, it's a freelancer permit. Here, the first thing I would like to say, to make it clear that the freelancer is not a legal entity. So it's not a company. It's yourself as individual, as a coach. You will get a permit for certain activity. In this case, we are talking about coaching activity that you can carry as commercial activity in the UAE. You can sign contracts with your clients, you can get payments, etc. Here in the UAE, without having any type of license or permit, an individual cannot carry any commercial business activity. So this is individual, not a legal entity, number one. Number two, same as a free zone company, you are allowed to get a UAE residence visa as a freelancer. But the difference here that you will be able to get a residence visa only for yourself, plus you can sponsor your direct family members. It can be a spouse, it can be your kids, or it can be your parents. But you cannot hire employees. Unlike in the free zone company, you can also hire employees. What about the office? Can you rent an office if you are not a legal entity as a freelancer? You cannot rent a permanent commercial space as a company. However, what freelancers are doing, they are renting co-working spaces and business center facilities where you can have meetings with your friends, with your clients, and you can have a quiet atmosphere to work by yourself if it's required out of home environment, where you will find usually Wi-Fi connection in all facilities like in business centers. Same as a free zone company, you can do business inside UAE. Here, coming to the bank account, the next feature for freelancer, there is a difference with companies that since you are not registered as a legal entity, you cannot open a corporate bank account, but you are allowed to operate with your personal bank account, which will be very easy to open here in the UAE also once we get your residence visa. Being not resident also still will be possible, but with some additional requirements. Lastly, for those who are already staying in the UAE and being residents, it might be interesting fact that it is allowed by the law actually to be employed in a company and at the same time to work as a freelancer. The only condition here that there must be no objection letter from your current employer. So you have to notify basically that you are going to carry activity out of your working hours as a freelancer, and your employer should sign this letter. This is only condition. So these are the main characteristics of a freelancer for your understanding what's the difference between a company and a freelancer. So we will go to the next slide. We will start here with the specific recommendations and options already, and we will start with the freelancers. One of the most recommended option for the coaching, and probably you can see in the right screen, specific activity for coaching which is available. It is executive coaching and management coach. This is a freelancer permit which we can register for you in Dubai South Free Zone. It's one of the free zones located in the Emirate of Dubai. From the left side of the screen, you can see the budget, what you have to consider for registration of this freelancer permit. So we are talking about around 9,800 dirham. Those who are more convenient with dollar, you can see also in brackets the cost in dollars, so it's around $2,600. What this price includes, it will include the freelancer permit itself, and also it will include the establishment card. This is a card from the immigration of Dubai, which further will allow you to apply for your residence visa. Both freelancer permit and this establishment card have to be renewed on annual basis. From the right side, you can see additional cost you have to consider if you would like to get a residence visa. So the residence visa cost will be around 5,000 dirham, or in dollar it's 1,300 approximately. Here, the important thing to consider that the residence visa is valid for 3 years, unlike the permit itself is for 1 year only. So we are talking about renewal of visa every 3 years, and the freelancer permit and establishment card every 1 year. And the costs for renewal are the same. If you already decided, yes, I want to get a freelancer permit, so the next thing you should look at is what kind of documents you need to prepare to get this registration done. The package of documents actually is quite easy for freelancers. So we will need your passport copy. The main requirement is that it should be valid for at least minimum of another 6 months. Beside your passport copy, we will require your latest updated CV or resume. And the most important, we will need here your credentials and certificates, where in this case, your coaching program and your international certificate for coaches will be very useful, because it's one of the requirements to obtain the freelancer permit. The last two requirements, which you can see from the right side of the screen, visa copy and sponsors NOC, these are requirements which are applicable only for those of you who already stay in the UAE and you already have a residence visa. So in this case, we will need just copy of your current visa, and we will need no objection certificate or no objection letter from your current sponsor. It may be your current employer, your company, or can be also your spouse. If you're on the visa of your spouse, doesn't matter. So as you can see, the documents are quite simple. The time that will be required for the registration and obtaining the freelancer permit is around 7 to 10 working days only. And the next step already after getting the freelancer permit will be the establishment card itself and the residence visa. For residence visa, those of you who are not here in the UAE, you should consider that your presence in Dubai for the whole process of getting visa done will be needed for around 7 to 10 working days. While for getting freelancer permit itself, it's only 1 day. And nowadays, due to the current situation in the world, it can be done even without physical presence, the registration itself. Now we will go to the next option for freelancers, which is also a free zone, but located in another emirate. It's one of the northern emirates, Ras Al Khaimah. The free zone name itself is Ras Al Khaimah Economic Zone, or RAKEZ for short. Here they do offer for coaches the activity personal development coach. You can see in the right side of the screen. And they offer 2 packages for such activity and for freelancers in general. So either you can go for the package of 1 year freelancer permit, or for the package 2-year freelancer permit. So you can see the difference in course. For 1 year, you will need the budget around $12,435, or it's around $3,300. And it already includes the visa fee, the freelancer fee, and all the relevant fees for registration of freelancer and obtaining visa. The second package includes all the same, but for 2 years. So the cost here is different. It's $18,235, or around almost $5,000. And validity here is for 2 years, for visa and for the freelancer package. For documents, what you will need to prepare here, it's very similar. It's exactly the same as in previous free zone, Dubai South. So it's only your passport copy, your certificates, and or if you have portfolio or university degree or certificates like what you get now from the coaching program, which will support your chosen business activity as a freelancer. And again, if you already have a residency visa, then the visa copy and NOC from your current sponsor will be required as well. By the time of registration, the time frame also is very similar to previous option. We are talking about 7 to 10 working days for the freelancer permit. Now we will move to, okay, so next option, we will move already to legal entity, to company registration. The first option, what I would like to suggest you is Dubai Knowledge Park. This one of the free zones, which is actually specialized in businesses which are related to educational segment. And those activities do include also mentoring, coaching, training. It's also covered by this segment. So this free zone is specialized in such activities. You can see from the left side the name of the activity which will be applicable for coaching. It's called management training. And you can see the scope of that activity from the right side, which also includes coaching and mentoring. Here, their cost involved is much higher than the freelancer permit, but again, we are talking about legal entity, about company registration, but not only you as individual getting a permit. So if you look in the left side of the screen, you can see that registration and licensing will cost you around 20,540 dirham, or it's around $5,500. While from the second year of renewal, these fees will be less already, and it will be around 15,020 dirham, or around $4,000 only. From second year and onwards, annual renewal will cost this fee. What other fees you have to add to this and to consider is renting office. Unlike for freelancers and specifically for business activities related to coaching, in any free zone, it's mandatory requirement, in most of the free zone, not in any, there are a few exceptions, but in this free zone, it's mandatory requirement to have a physical office. So it's one of the requirements to get the license and to register the company. So in this free zone, the minimum space of office they are offering is 500 square feet, which is around 50 square meter. And you can see the cost in the screen for such office is 87,500 dirham per year, or it's around $23,800. If you will require to get residence visa for yourself as a shareholder or for your employees, to those costs you have to add also the visa cost, which is around 5,000 per person, and there is also 2,500 guaranteed deposit applicable. This deposit is refundable, and it will be refunded on the time you will cancel your visa or you will decide to close the company by any reasons. The visa validity here will be for 3 years, while your license and your rental agreement will be valid for 1 year. So every year you have to renew license and the lease. One very important note for any company into coaching activity, it's in Dubai, it's required to get additional approval, not only from the free zone itself, but to get approval from the local authority, KHDA authority. This authority regulates actually all the businesses which into the education sector and related to education, like training, coaching, mentoring, etc. To get this approval, again, two important considerations. It's additional cost, which in average around 15,000 dirham per year, and also additional time frame for setting up your business, because you will get the license only after we get this approval from KHDA. So the time frame can reach up to 20-25 days for getting the approval only. While the registration of company itself, it takes also around 20-25 days. So this is option number 1 for the free zone company registration as a legal entity. Second option, which we will move now, it's also a free zone company. The free zone name is Dubai Multi Commodities Center, or DMCC. This free zone actually was recognized as the best free zone and the fastest growing free zone for the last 3 years consequently. This is a free zone where our company also is registered. For those of you who are already in Dubai, maybe will be interesting to know the location of the free zone is in Jumeirah Lake Towers area, or GLT for short. The business activity for coaching, what's available here is called management training, professional management development training, if to be specific. You can see from the right side the sorry, it's a bit close on this. You can see from the right side also the scope of the business activity, what exactly will be covered in that license. This activity and in this free zone, same as in previous option, will be mandatory required to obtain approval from KHDA authority, and requirements will be the same. What is different here, and I would actually more recommend you this option if you are looking to start more cost effectively but still have an illegal entity. This option will be more cost effective in comparison with Dubai Knowledge Park. And the biggest difference here will be in rental fees for offices. So you can see from left side of the screen that registration and licensing, the first year will cost you around 34,000 dirham, which is around $9,300. While from the second year and onwards, renewal will be already less. It will be 20,285 in dirhams, and in dollar it's 5,500. The rental fee here, I included for you the option, which is the minimum space available for physical office. It's around from 120 to 300 square feet. The cost is 32,420 dirham or $8,800. This is the annual fees of the rent. This kind of office can accommodate up to 2-3 persons, so 2-3 desks will be there, and also you can receive a quota for 3 residence visas. It's an important note that in all the free zones, the quota for the residence visa which your company will get, it's always connected to the size of your office. So if you need to hire 10 employees, then you have to consider already that you will need around 100 square meter office. The common rule is usually 10 square meter provides you 1 quota for residence visa. You can see also here the additional cost for the visa itself. It will be the same for you as a owner of the company, and for the employees, it's around almost 6,000 dirham, and in dollar 1,600. And there is refundable deposit here also. It's 3,000 dirham, which is can be refunded upon cancellation of visa or liquidation of your company. The visa itself, which is a good point in comparison with other Emirates, in any Dubai-based free zones, your visa will be valid for 3 years, whether you are shareholder or employee. For both these categories, it's valid for 3 years. One more important thing in this free zone, the facilities, the offices, mostly they are not owned by the free zone itself, like it's in most of other free zones. What does it mean for you as an entrepreneur, as a shareholder? That means that you would have much bigger option of choices of different kind of offices, different fees. You can negotiate, you can approach individual landlords. So you don't deal with the government only, which has a fixed fees per square feet, like it was in a previous option. Also, if in any time in future you're required to buy that office, but you don't want to just rent it, that's also possible in this free zone, which you cannot do in Dubai Knowledge Park, for example. And actually in most of the free zones, the offices are not for sale. So this is about DMC free zone. Last thing there, if you wonder about the time frame, how long will it take to set up your business there, we are talking about 20-25 days. And the great thing nowadays, the DMCC made new initiative where they allow to register your business fully online. So previously, one-time presence, physical presence here in Dubai was required, while here we can avoid it, and we can do all the procedures without their presence. Okay, so we'll move to the last option from the free zones recommended for coaching businesses, which is this free zone, Ras Al Khaimah Economic Zone or RAKEZ zone. It is located in Ras Al Khaimah Emirate, which is already one of the northern Emirates, not in Dubai. This is much more cost-effective option in comparison with two Dubai options which we discussed. Things to consider here again. This type of company is allowed only for the company with one individual shareholder. However, it's not a freelancer permit like we discussed in the very beginning. It's not just you as individual getting a permit, but it's registration of legal entity, but you cannot have partners. It's only yourself as individual shareholder. And their available activity for coaches, it's business coaching. You can see from the left side of the screen. And from the right side, you can see the estimated budget for registration of such company, which is around 13,468 dirham, or it's around $3,600. What does it include? It includes actually all the registration fees of the free zone, license, the flexi desk, and also one visa quarter for you as a shareholder of this company. When I say visa quarter, just for clarification, doesn't mean the visa itself and the cost of visa is included. It's only allowance for a certain number of visas. So you can see, lastly, the additional cost, which will be for your residence visa. It's around 4,200 dirham, or it's $1,100. The package itself, the license itself, will be valid for 1 year, and you have to renew it every year. While the residence visa will be valid for 3 years, so you have to renew it every 3 years. As you can see, another difference with previous two options of legal entity of company registration is that it includes a flexi desk and not a physical office, and it does not require any external other government authorities' approvals. RAKEZ was required in previous two options. What does it mean for you as an entrepreneur, as a coach? That means that you will significantly reduce your cost for renting physical office and for obtaining approval from this external authority. And it will also reduce the time for setting up the business itself. So if in Dubai we are talking about 20-25 days, in Ras Al Khaimah economic zone, we are talking about 7 to 10 working days approximately for setting up a business and getting already all your corporate documents. Moreover, good point, today it's also possible and allowed fully digital, so no physical presence required. Unless in the second step you will require already to get a residence visa. In that case, your presence in the UAE will be needed. Otherwise, we can set up business without the presence. So this is about the three options of free zones. I'm almost coming to the end. Here, I would like to share with you some useful links. And I would like to note that after the webinar, if not yet done, Sanjit should share with all of you the presentation in PDF format. So any information which you would like to recall, to review, etc., you will have access to it. So some of the useful links which I included here include the information about 15 facts which you as a foreign investor or entrepreneur need to know about UAE free zones. Also, how you need to choose the best free zone for your business. What are the important points to pay attention while choosing a free zone. And 10 things to know before opening a new business in Dubai. This also will be useful for you. And another three important links I would recommend you to check is accounts guide for your e-businesses. What is this accounts guide for your business? Here, a little bit, like a few minutes, I would like to explain you. We do recommend to all our clients, whether you register a freelancer permit or whether you register legal entity, a company, to properly have records for your accounts and bookkeeping. Even though you will not be on certain stages, you will not be submitting to any local authorities, but it's very, very important for you as entrepreneurs, as businessmen, to have your records. So what we are offering for startups, considering that most probably on initial stage, at least in the first year, you would like to save cost on hiring accountant or on outsourcing companies and paying them for accounting services, So this is the solution which will help you actually to save your cost and time, and where we provide the e-guide for the main information about accounting and bookkeeping and local regulations. Together with this e-guide, you will get 20 free templates for accounting and bookkeeping reports in Excel format with formulas written inside the Excel already. And each file are connected to each other, where you insert data in one of the files, it's connected to other files. So you can do profit loss report, balance sheet, cash flow, and some other reports just by yourself, being not accountant, not have an accountant or finance background. Along with that, you will be getting also templates for invoices, for receipts, checkbooks, etc. Because many of our clients who never did business in the UAE, even though they have business experience in different other countries, they were always wondering and asking questions. So what are the requirements, even for such simple basic things as how I can do invoice? What is the important and mandatory information to be in invoice or in the receipt, etc.? So based on those questions and feedback we were receiving from clients, we developed this ebook for accounting, plus all these templates which I mentioned. By this link, you will get more information about it. And moreover, by just filling up 2-3 lines with your details, you can get some templates which will give you idea how this ebook will look and what you are getting instead. The important thing also when we are talking about cost, how it will help you to save your cost, hiring accounting or hiring company for providing accounting services will cost you a minimum of 3,000 per month and above. While here the ebook is for non-registered, for VAT businesses, which is for you the first year you will not be registered most probably, it will cost you around $300 only. So you can find this information by this first link. The other 2 links, second one is if you have any existing business already overseas and you are thinking to open not a new company in the UAE, but you'd like to set up a branch of that business here. So here you will find the important information about how you should set up a branch. And lastly, some of you might be, who are thinking to open business, might be considering to do it not alone as a single shareholder, but you might be considering to have partners. So in this case, I highly, highly recommend you to check out this link, the last one, key points to consider when entering a business partnership, which is, to be honest, from my experience, I have clients who are coming 2-3 people together. They want to do business, they want to start business together and to be partners. And after reading and after asking some questions about partnership, they reconsidered opening the business with partners and preferred to go alone, which is for some people will work better to be individual owners, for some with partners. But even though you choose to have partners, please pay attention to these details as per this last link. That's it from my side, and now it's your time to ask the questions or any feedback. Please feel free.